Hey, what's going on, guys? Eastern John here, and today we're going to be talking about Destiny 2's brand new expansion, Beyond Light. In this expansion, we'll be taking on the fallen captain, Aramis, as she has taken on a splinter of darkness to give her and her fallen allies darkness abilities. During this expansion, the Exo Stranger will be meeting us on Europa to take down Aramis. Along with Europa, the Cosmodrome is also being added back as a brand new destination. Although, at this moment in time, there seems to be no connection to the current Europa story. Also, during this expansion, we'll be able to take advantage of a brand new Darkness subclass and damage type labeled Stasis. According to Bungie, this Darkness subclass, the subclass tree itself, will not be like any of the other current subclass trees in the game. Bungie also goes on to mention that there will be a new raid in the Deep Stone Crypt on Europa. Although, the biggest thing that was revealed on the stream was an update to Destiny 3. And the update is, Destiny 3 is no longer on the board, and they plan to stick with Destiny 2. So with this big announcement, they showed the next two fall expansions that they are currently working on, which is Destiny 2, The Witch Queen, which is set to release in fall of 2021, and Destiny 2 Lightfall, working title, that is set to release in fall of 2022. So, since they have decided to keep working on Destiny 2, starting this September, the following locations, Mars, Mercury, Io, Titan, and the Leviathan, and all content associated with them, except PvP maps, will be placed in a new thing called the DCV, or the Destiny Content Vault. Before I explain what the DCV is, I'd just like to make a note that all weapons and armor associated with these activities and destinations will not go into the DCV. You'll still be able to use them. So, what is the DCV, or Destiny Content Vault? Well, as you guys know, this has been a topic since Shadowkeep, and that is, Destiny 2 is getting too big. So, this is their solution for it. Essentially, what they're doing is removing old, useless, outdated content out of the game. An example they use to justify taking out certain content out of the game is the Mars campaign. I don't have the exact numbers, but apparently during Season of the Worthy, the Mars Warmind expansion campaign had a very low rate. It was like something like 0.03% that players had played during that season. But moving on, they stated that the DCV includes all of Destiny 1 and anything retired in Destiny 2, meaning anything that is retired to the DCV has a chance to make its way back into the game, updated and everything. An example they used for unvaulting something was the Cosmodrome. During Season 12, the Cosmodrome will be back in the game with one strike, which will be the Will of Crota strike from Destiny 1. And then, during Season 13, the Cosmodrome will be brought up the full parity with how it was in Destiny 1, with the other two missing strikes. Also, one more thing they're doing is somewhere during 2021, but before the fall of 2021, the Vault of Glass is being brought back into Destiny 2. They also went on to note again that PvP is not going to be really affected by the Destiny Content Vault, as Destiny PvP maps will always be a best of Destiny 1 and 2. And one final thing they mentioned was that Gambit and Gambit Prime are being smashed together into one mode. So, now with all the information out of the way, it's time for the off the dome thoughts part of the video. So, first thing to start off with is the story. The story is kind of Right now it's sort of surface level, and I feel like that's because we don't know everything, and they want to keep things a surprise. But I hope there's more than just angry Fallen gets darkness powers, and then we kick their ass in the end. Although, I am glad that this is involving the Exo Stranger and Eris and Drifter, as they're all very interesting characters. So that's a good thing. And also, I like that the main story is taking place on Europa. This is a very heavily talked about destination, essentially, since Destiny 1. I mean, there was many pieces of concept art for it, and we've even seen short pre-alpha footage from long ago when we got that UI look from one of the developers. So I'm very excited about this because Europa as a destination can be very big. Also, the new raid is taking place on Europa in the Deepstone Crypt. This is very exciting because the Deepstone Crypt has been a sort of heavily talked about big topic. It's where the Exos were born and everything. And it's been very mysterious throughout Destiny's history and lore. The one thing I am confused about is the statement that they have on their website that there will be 3 raids playable this fall, including a new one set in the Deepstone Crypt. So the statement is kind of confusing because, as we know, we're getting all the Leviathan removed, so we're getting the 4 Leviathan raids removed. But we still have the Moon, European Dead Zone, and the Dreaming City, meaning that Garden of Salvation and Last Wish, at the very least, will still be in the game. But what about Scourge of the Past raid? That is still in the European Dead Zone, and this makes it seem like that Scourge of the Past are one of those raids. One of them is just getting randomly removed in place for the Deepstone Crypt raid. So I hope in the end, Bungie ends up clarifying that. Alright, the next thing is Darkness subclasses and a new damage type, Stasis. I'm very excited for this because Darkness subclasses have what the community and I think everyone and their mom has been wanting since SD1. And a new damage type, I don't know how I feel about this. If it ends up working different than Arc Solar Void, then I'll be real excited about this. But if it ends up just being a carbon copy of one of those 3, then it's not going to interest me whatsoever. And let's talk about the final thing, the DCV or Destiny Content Vault. Currently, I am cautiously optimistic about this, like I am about sunsetting. And as from the fact that I hope that returning content, like the Vault of Glass for example, is not replacing what could be fresh, brand new content. I guess in a way I'm also very split at the very core of this concept because I absolutely hate to see paid content just go away. But at the same time, I completely understand that the game is getting way too big and they can't, it's getting harder and harder for them to manage updates and everything when you have to account for, what is it right now, like over 9 destinations currently in the game, and that's not even counting all the little things. Also, I'm glad that they're leaving PvP maps out of this because the last thing PvP needs right now is less Crucible maps. Gambit and Gambit Prime being smashed together into one mode. I like that, because I think it's pointless to have 2 Gambit modes when they're kind of the same in a way. But I hope that there's big balancing changes to Gambit, because right now it's just sitting there collecting dust, and it's a very not fun game mode. Overall, I hope the DCV ends up improving the game majorly, because right now, getting a very shitty public event once a season for in between the fall expansions, it ain't gonna work much longer. I'll say that now. So I hope that them removing content allows them to make newer, better content easier and faster, because with the way Season of the Warby was and how much of a shit show that was, they cannot have that again. I also hope that they don't use it as an excuse for content as well. I don't want to be seeing Destiny 1 content in the game really that much, because I've already played Destiny 1. And if I want to play Destiny 1, I could turn on my goddamn Xbox 2 inches away from me and go play Destiny 1. But, like I said, I hope this results bettering the game. With that being said, this was Ace Trainer John, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.